It started with a fierce controversy over her public response to the deadly attack on the U.S. consulate in Benghazi, Libya. Now the growing backlash against the U.S. Ambassador Susan Rice as a possible contender for Secretary. New questions about Africa and Iraq. CNN's White House correspondent Dan Lothian is over at the White House. He's got the latest information. Dan, what is the White House doing? Are they standing by her?
Well, they are, Wolf. I spoke with a senior administration official today who told me a lot of these criticisms are deeply unfair, suggested that there are opposition researchers out there actively pushing this information that's fueling a fire that hasn't died down.
At the State Department, the clock is ticking.
Good morning.
Secretary of State Hillary Clinton is expected to depart at the end of next month, and U.S. Ambassador Susan Rice is considered to be at the top of the short list to replace her.
What is the holdup? Is there a holdup?
There's no holdup. The president has made no decisions, and I have no personnel announcements to make.
But with another critical argument to keep Ambassador job. And the loudest voice is none other than Senator John McCain, who jumped in the fray again on Piers Morgan tonight.
There are now additional concerns about her role as far as Africa is concerned.
Senator McCain, who's seeking a Relations Committee that would vet Ambassador Rice if she's nominated, touched on concerns voiced by human rights advocates about her African leaders and the U.S. response to war crimes by rebels in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Add that to the senator's harsh rebuke of the ambassador's actions after the Benghazi attacks.
But the fact is, she not only gave wrong information, but she gave the...
Then there's the controversy over major investments Rice and her husband hold in TransCanada, the company seeking to build that Keystone XL pipeline.
We need for the next Secretary of State to be completely unburdened of any interest that could present a conflict or the appearance of a conflict.
Even her position on the invasion of Iraq is being questioned, whether she was for it or against it. So is there a White House strategy to hold off? Rice is vetted in the court of public opinion. Aides aren't playing the game of hypotheticals since Ambassador Rice has not yet been nominated. But some doubt any of this will matter in the end.
If he nominates Susan Rice, I think he will get her through the Senate. It will be contentious, but look, I just don't think the Republicans can afford to be in a position where you have a black woman facing a tough fight and from a bunch of older white guys.
Now, while aides here won't talk about a timeline for a nomination, CNN is hearing that a decision, a national security announcement could be made as early as next week. I asked Jay Carney about all of this today, and he simply said that the president was engaging in discussions about some of these personnel decisions. Wolf?
Dan Lothian at the White House, thanks very much. Let's talk about this and more with the chairman of the Republican National Committee, Reince Priebus, who's joining us now. Reince, thanks very much for coming in.
Hey, Wolf. Nice to see you.
What did you think of what David Gergen just said, that it would look bad for Republicans to go after a younger African-American woman, especially at a sensitive time like this after the election?
Well, I don't think skin color these things. It has to do with what's right for this country. And, you know, as chairman of the party, you don't really weigh in on national security issues like that. And that's why we've got people like John McCain and Lindsey Graham that are looking at these things and asking the questions. I mean, certainly just in the tail end of the presidential election, there were a lot of questions about what happened in Benghazi and how things trickled out and whether or not the State Department and Susan Rice and the White House were on the same page. Those, Wolf, though, generally, those are questions for the leadership in the Senate. It's really not a place that the chairman of the party gets too involved with.
You are directly involved with. Yesterday you announced the major, I don't know if you want to call it